Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
We're thinking a lot about safety. We know that we're somewhat at the mercy of the 2-ton cars.
Hit-and-run crashes are trending in the wrong direction. Experts say these deadly collisions have gone up 60% since 2009.
Valley News Team's Veronica Marshall spoke to people who know the problem all too well.
I love biking. Biking is a freedom machine, right? There's nothing quite like having the wind in your hair on your bike.
Tom Smith has been riding for nearly 50 years, and during that time, the number of cyclists in Fargo has grown along with the city. But so have deadly hit-and-run collisions. AAA says we're at an all-time high with hit-and-run crashes happening every minute in the U.S.
We're seeing also, a significant number of these, or 65% of these, are occurring with the pedestrians or bicyclists.
It does happen. It can happen. It has happened in our community. It never ends well for the cyclists.
When drivers leave the scene of an accident, they make a bad situation worse for everyone.
On average, about half of all hit-and-run drivers are ultimately caught and sentenced for doing so.
If a patient's seriously injured and it takes a long time before emergency services is notified of that, that care can be a long time. If that person's not breathing, over the course of minutes, over the course of 6 to 8 minutes, that might mean that person's life.
We're really imploring those motorists to watch out and make sure they're aware that the cyclists are out there.
Because now is when calls for help could start going up.
Now that we're coming up into the summer, people should expect to see lots of kids, teenagers on bikes running into the street. Things happen, kids run out into the streets, but it's more important that we get the help to them.
In Fargo, Veronica Marshall, Valley News Live.
AAA also says deadly hit-and-runs mostly happen at night, partially due to poor visibility, impaired or distracted driving, and a lack of witnesses.
In tonight's schemes and rip-offs, the Grand Forks Police Department says it's been made aware of a possible scam going around town. The department says people are receiving phone calls from someone claiming to be Chris Smith from the sheriff's office. The caller claims you missed jury duty and asks for your bank routing number, or a warrant will be issued for your arrest. The police department says do not give any of your bank information to anyone on the phone that you don't know. And if you receive this type of call, you're urged to hang up right away.
That massive fire is out at an oil refinery in Superior, Wisconsin. The explosion at the Husky Energy Oil Refinery led to the evacuation of 45,000 people. That included everyone within a 3-mile radius of the refinery to Duluth, Minnesota, that covered almost the entire city of Superior. A specially trained team out of Texas was called in to help put out the flames.
It's going to take a community to work together to look after our citizens during this response. What I'll say is that's what's happening right now. The community is looking out for one another. We're prepared for this. We're ready to handle this for as long as it takes.
No deaths have been reported, but officials say nearly 24 people were injured. At least 6 people were taken to the hospital. No word on the extent of their injuries.
The breeze has dropped off from earlier today, but it's not going to stay that way overnight. Hutch, it sounds like we'll be cooling things down a bit tomorrow.
Yeah, indeed, that is the case. Our winds from the north today were very gusty, over 40 miles per hour across the Southern Valley into Lakes Country. And now we have some showers pushing in from the north, mainly in northwest Minnesota. A few of those showers likely reaching the ground north of the Thief River Falls area, where you see the deep green colors. Not too rainy or the chance thereof across eastern North Dakota. A cooler air mass is going to work its way down as we go through the overnight hours. We still have our flood concerns, mainly along the northern Red River Valley. Moderate flooding still taking place in Oslo, but good news is the river is starting to decline in that area. Hour-by-hour forecast shows temperatures dip into the 40s as we go through the overnight hour. Just a quick shot of showers, maybe up to around 1/10 of an inch in a few spots. That's how we start our Friday. It looks like another windy day. I'll have the breezy details for you coming up here in just a couple of moments.
Okay, thanks, Hutch.
You bet.
Police in Bemidji, Minnesota need your help finding 2 people of interest in regard to an ongoing theft investigation. The photos are on your screen right now. If you know either of the women in the pictures, please call Bemidji Police at this phone number, 218-333-8373. And if you call, be sure to reference photo 292.
Law enforcement is sending a message early about speeding in construction zones. Today, West Fargo police stopped 8 cars that were over the 25-mile-per-hour speed limit. 7 were given warnings, and they ticketed 1 person. For a list and more information about these construction zones, go to our website at valleynewslive.com and click on this story for a link to the construction projects in West Fargo.
Spring is in the air, but according to some neighbors, so is an odor that comes with the warmer weather. We checked around town to find out where it's coming from. The first stop was Fargo's landfill. The odor there doesn't carry much outside its gates. Meanwhile, the city of West Fargo tells us the lagoon on the outskirts of the city does have an odor issue caused by the septic compounds emerging at the water's surface when the ice melts. We're told on windy days like today, the smell is especially bad.
When the wind changes from a different direction and starts blowing across the town, that's when we start getting a lot of these different smells.
Construction will begin in June and is scheduled to be done this fall.
Labor statistics show that 28 workers were killed in North Dakota in 2016, and many more suffered from occupational diseases. Local workers, officials, and community members gathered at the Fargo-Moorhead Labor Temple for a Workers' Memorial Day to commemorate those who have died or suffered illness or injuries on the job.
We honor them for the sacrifice that they made on the job, but this country as a nation, we can no longer continue down the path where profits and productivity are held in higher esteem than the workers that create them.
Today's program included labor leaders reading the names of the 12 workers who died on the job in North Dakota this past year, and attendees placing a flower on a wreath for each worker.
I didn't know about the double crossing. I thought you were just going to get Dr. Chiak and I was supposed to be your manager.
That's not how it works.
Oh.
It was your run-of-the-mill competition at Sanford Children's Hospital today. Arm wrestling between a doctor and a patient. And things got a little messy. 7-year-old Braden Christensen, who's battling Ewing's sarcoma, challenged pediatric oncologist Dr. Melanie Chiak to an arm wrestling competition. Entering the room like a champ, it didn't take long for him to show who was boss.
Probably not something they do in standard medical school, but it's a really nice feeling that that they're willing to do something like this.
Hustle.
This all came about from popular wrestler John Cena's viral Make-A-Wish arm wrestle challenge. And with all the excitement, Braden has his own challenge for his favorite WWE superstar.
I challenge you, John Cena.
Where at? Where do you want to?
Camp Casey.
Why do you want to challenge him? Because he's the best?
Because he's the best. Okay, can we go now? I want to wash my hands. I challenge you, Cena, at Camp Casey. You can't see me.
And we'll be sure to let you know if John Cena accepts the Champs Challenge.
We sure will. Bill Cosby's not going to jail, at least not yet. The latest following today's guilty verdict.
Up next, while boys are more likely to be diagnosed with ADHD, why it might be more challenging to detect it in girls.